Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JPeeps.
This is the Bug.
This is Jay Cee.
This is Flash.
This is Jimi Hendrix.
And you are listening to...
And you are listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening to the Run and Gun Podcast.
What's up? What's up?
How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Joining from a dangerous highway.
Tell them what highway you on and where you headed.
I-75, baby.
He said he headed down to South Florida. That's where that man's headed.
Let me tell them all my locations. Hold up.
You said all your locations. You said all your location.
Yeah.
Oh. Whoa.
Yeah. I'm telling them about my six houses.
Oh my gosh, sir. All your location. You got me worried. About your government.
My government finance safe house.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? My name's JPeeps.
My name is Jay Cee.
And
is
welcome.
Like oh my goodness. Oh Lord.
Is that
Sorry.
what? Oh.
The lightning. Ooh. Just getting a little uneasy out here on the road.
Oh Lord have mercy. But yeah, welcome to the Run and Gun Podcast, everybody. You know, it's a good lineup for you today, but I got to start with a couple of things. I don't know if you heard the news, but Jerry Sloan has passed away from complications of Parkinson's disease and Lewy body dementia. He was the first Chicago Bull, and he was the coach of the Utah Jazz during their run with Karl Malone and John Stockton. He was in the Last Dance documentary, actually, too.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So, our hearts are with our thoughts and prayers are with the Sloan family and the Utah Jazz family on this day, and the Chicago Bulls family. Very sad. Also, too, Florida and Georgia have lifted the restrictions on youth and high school sports. Effective immediately, youth and high school sports athletes can begin voluntary workouts with their sports teams as of June 1st.
That means everybody's coming. Yes. Voluntary mean involuntary.
Exactly. That's my thing. Because some of y'all gonna come, some of y'all ain't gonna come.
And if you don't come, coach gonna be looking at you sideways when you start asking about that starting position.
That's true. They might be a little more forgiving this time around versus other times.
Because you know what they're going to say? They're going to be like, everybody else came up in here. Where was you?
That's true. But I'm gonna get right into this, because I got to jump right into this, because we are on the topic of talking about restrictions being lifted. The SEC voted today on May 22nd, 2020, to allow players to return back to campus on June 8th. How you feel about that?
I mean, again, it's still all up to the schools.
That's true. Yeah.
Depends on what each school is going to say about letting people back in and about playing games. I mean,
yeah. Because right now there's a lot of progress that has been made. I'll say that. The Big Ten says they plan on playing football this year, but they're leaving it ultimately up to the schools to decide. The Big Ten has already given the green light. Ohio State said that they plan on looking at playing with 20 to 50,000 fans inside their stadium, because their stadium holds 105,000. So that they feel that. Wait, say again?
about to say, so at half capacity.
Yeah. Because they hold 105,000, and they said I could see up 50,000 fans inside that stadium. I really could.
I still think that the prospect is still kind of dangerous. I mean, again, no cure.
That's true. Yeah, you always have to take that into account.
You're exposing a whole bunch of different people to people that they probably never seen.
Yeah.
So,
and the other thing too is some people are gonna probably not go to the game as is because they're gonna be afraid to venture out of their homes, and they're gonna be afraid to venture into sporting events and stuff. So it's gonna be different, I think, because some people aren't gonna want to take the risk as is now.
yeah, it's still a high risk environment. Until that changes, I won't be doing nothing. I don't know about you, till it goes to like low risk.
True. I feel that.
Okay.
The other thing too, I think you're going to find funny is the West Virginia president says he plans on playing football this year, even if he has to suit up himself. Now, mind you, they play Florida State week 1. He was a 2-star athlete coming out of high school.
Good luck with that one. Good luck. They build him a little bigger these days.
Exactly. He's class of 1964.
Oh, yeah, they build him a little bit bigger these days. Maybe not as mean, but they build him a little bit bigger.
Yeah, so I'm just – I want to know, I'm like, how many carries he going to get?
You might make him the cowbell. Come on now.
See, look.
You want the rock. Give him the rock.
And then one of them 300-pound boys, we done fell on him. We done broke them all up.
Nah, he ready. Give him the rock. He said he want to suit up. He said, put me in the game, coach. Rudy.
Yeah.
He said, put him in. Give him the rock.
You ain't right. You ain't right.
Give him the rock. Stop playing with the man.
You know you ain't right for that.
Get a man the rock. That's all I'm saying.
The state of Florida says all of its campuses will be open in the fall. The NCAA will now allow players in football, men's basketball, and women's basketball to return to their campuses for voluntary workouts starting June 1st. That's just the NCAA as a whole. That's what they've said. The SEC is doing it a little bit differently. And then the state of Florida as a whole, they said that their campuses will be open during the fall. The Florida State, state university system has already come out and said this.
That's because Florida is wild.
Of course, you know this. Honestly, if you didn't know Florida was wild, you haven't been paying attention to this state during hurricane season for like the past 30 years.
Yeah, that's because Florida is a bit wild. A bit on the wild child side.
Speaking of the wild child side with Florida, I have to tell you something once we get off the air that happened.
Once we get off the air. I mean, hey, man, the restrictions lifted this Monday, which was, the 17th or 18th or whatever?
It was the 18th that those restrictions got lifted.
People already lining up at restaurants and stuff. Like, come on, dog. What y'all doing? That's
true. And then you heard about Universal, too. Universal Studios is going to open June 3rd, June 4th. I think it's going to open.
Now, you know what? On the low, I think I would go because then you ain't got to wait no long lines to go to no ride.
I'm saying, thank you. I'm saying, look. If Universal, because Universal going to lower them prices to get people in there just to convince them. If Universal Studios prices are negotiable, I'm going.
They hit me with a $5 day, I'm taking the trip.
Exactly. I'm like, look, I will ride over. I'll take the hour ride over to Orlando and go ride the rides and not have to wait in line. And I could probably ride all the rides in one day. It'll be like Grab Bash all over again.
Oh, you know what would be great? If they actually did that speed bullet train that they had proposed. Wow. Thanks, what was his name? Rick Scott. But, we gonna leave the politics aside.
Yeah, I understand. That's another story for another time. But speaking of the state of Florida, Florida State has already begun testing for athletes and the staff. They've been doing this for about, I want to say, a couple of weeks now, anticipating what the NCAA has said about voluntary workouts starting June 1st.
Yeah, because the important part still is that you have to know that everybody coming in doesn't have it.
Yeah, that's very true. Because the thing is, and they're just talking about this on Paul Feinbaum's show, is, you know, when you have a positive test, I think the best thing that we can do is, if you're going to follow through with this and have a season, you have to know how to manage it.
Exactly.
You have to be ready. You can't let the fear of, you know, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? You can't let the fear of that kind of cause everything to get shut back down again. Because now at that point, there's a lot of money involved, and plus you got to be mindful of the safety of everybody.
Because now you want to push it through now.
Exactly.
So you have to take the good with the bad, the consequences or whatever.
Exactly. And this brings up the next point. There was a couple of construction workers tested positive for the virus in Tuscaloosa that are doing renovations on Bryant-Denny Stadium. But the other thing, too, is that a lot of people are saying is, like, you know, look, the heat kills the virus after a certain amount of time and everything like that. You know, plus there was an accident that took place, so hopefully everybody's okay that's working on the stadium and everything like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of rift there from different people. But, you know, that's to be expected because people are scared.
What are you going to do now? Hey, I mean, you pushed through hard on this.
Yes.
You fought for this. You fought to get the states open, to get the government open, all this stuff. So it's your bed. Lie in it. Fix it.
Exactly. And the other thing, too. Say again?
If they expect me to do something, all I know is they better start working on the cure and start pushing that.
Yeah. Yep. And the other thing, too, that I want to hit on is, and I'm going to hit on this a little bit later, too, when we get to the FAMU part, is, you know, has COVID-19 changed the way meetings are conducted? Because a lot of these coaches are having meetings, whether it be college, the NFL, maybe even high school, where they're meeting with their kids over Zoom and, like, you know, Microsoft Teams and stuff and Skype calls to go over certain things, you know. Like they're going over.
Well, I already think.
Say again?
I already think the technology was already taken over.
Oh, of course. But, you know, see, here's the thing, though. Coaches are so used to, you know, traditionally waking up. We wake up at 4 a.m, come into the facility, have meetings and stuff to talk about what we're going to do, game prep. But now these coaches are meeting up over Zoom and stuff. People weren't using Zoom as heavily before this all started.
Well, no, but I feel like the technology was already going to start taking over.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. Playbooks are now on tablets, things like that. And so now I feel like because of the technology before, the game was already pushing towards you do this and a more individual matter more so than a team matter. You take care of what you need to take care of.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And I feel like now with the circumstances and with the technology being available, that it's going to start pushing it more so again towards that more individual manner.
I feel you on that. That makes a lot of sense. In regards to the MLB, baseball set to return July 4th, but Blake Snell and even Bryce Harper backed him up on this. Blake Snell said that he's not risking his health for little money this season, and he says he's already planning on playing next season. Because he was saying, you know, if you watch the interview, you know, I'm not going to go out there and risk. And if I catch this and then my body's messed up for a while, and then I'm already getting little pay versus what I would have gotten, plus taxes and everything like that is going to take my money away. So, he said he's not really willing to risk it for this season. Probably come back and play next season.
No, I understand. No, it's a totally understandable thing. I mean, to some people, as crazy as this might seem, money isn't worth your life.
That's true. Yep, I would agree.
So, if he feels that he doesn't want to risk it, that's understandable. That's totally understandable.
Yeah.
But because he has, I'm guessing, still has the money to be able to sit out.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Baseball players make a pretty decent penny too.
Exactly, and I'm pretty sure it's all guaranteed if I'm not mistaken. So it's understandable.
Yeah. But as we transition to the NBA, the final 2 episodes of The Last Dance came out. And what have we learned so far? The Pacers, according to Michael Jordan and a couple of the Bulls players, were the toughest team that they had ever faced outside of the Pistons. Reggie Miller believes that those teams were better than the Bulls.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, look, my thing is they were an aggressive bunch. But, I mean, at the end, they weren't the better team. I feel like eventually, somewhere down the line, they would have gotten them. But it would have took a great effort to take them down.
Indeed.
But, I mean, but see, the other thing, too, with me is when I look at Indiana, and I go back to Reggie Miller's Pacers all the way to here recently with Paul George and Lance Stevenson and Roy Hibbert were with the Pacers. And I look at it, I was like, they were always good enough to get there, but they were never good enough to kind of like cross the threshold. And that's how it's always been. The one time the Reggie Miller and the Pacers got to the finals against the Lakers, they got drilled.
I mean, that aggression only takes you so far.
That's true. I feel you.
I mean, if you just run into a better team, yeah, aggression can help you with the edge, I guess. But emotions only take you so far.
Yeah, and that's been the case with the Pacers. Tough team.
Eventually, it just be a better baller.
Yeah. Just like I said, the Pacers they've always been a tough team. Whenever they've been really good, they've been a very tough team, no doubt about it. But they haven't been able to close the deal. Just haven't. But also too, Michael Jordan and all the guys, they said that they were willing to come back to chase ring number 7. Phil Jackson had decided to retire because of Jerry Krause, because Jerry Krause said that the Bulls could have gone 82-0 and Phil Jackson wasn't coming back. At that point right there, they told me I'm just like his own reputation just ultimately ruined this team.
I mean, you had a group of ballers. Yeah.
But see, the thing about it is Jerry Krause, at his own disposal, kind of, just broke this team up because of his own reputation.
I mean, hey, Brad, from what I'm hearing, I haven't seen it because, I don't have cable or anything. Nobody liked him.
Oh, dude, yeah. I watched an episode of Collapse. It's like a sports series on SB Nation on their YouTube page. I was like, you know what? Why did the Chicago Bulls break up? This is before The Last Dance even came out. If I find it, I'm going to send you the link. But, I mean, it was a rift. I think I want to say after the 96 season when they went 72-10 between Jerry Krause and Phil Jackson.
The whole team don't like you, man. What do you do?
Dude, they made fun of him. They made fun of him so bad.
Just bring it up.
Like, and see, here's the other thing too. This is what tells me everything. The team owner, Jerry Reinsdorf, offered Phil Jackson to come back. He completely ignored what the GM, Jerry Krause, had said. Because
nobody liked him, but I guess he technically got the job done.
He did. He got 6 out of. He got 6. But honestly, I'm like, dude, do you not realize how many you could have really possibly won with this group?
Oh yeah, he could have got a whole decade.
Exactly. And I'm like, look, you got the wild child in Dennis Rodman, but look, Dennis Rodman's going to produce for you, especially with the cast he has around him.
Even if it's not points wise.
Exactly.
Rebounds wise and defensive wise, he's going to
exactly.
produce.
And then the thing about it is Dennis Rodman knows how to get under the skin of people. Like if you go back and look at the last two championship finals against the Jazz, Dennis Rodman is completely inside of Karl Malone's head. Karl Malone's still getting the job done, but Karl Malone is just like agitated by Dennis Rodman. So I mean, look, and then here's the other thing too. I point this out because I asked the question: would they have won ring number 7 in '99? I think they would have, because of the.
Probably.
Say again.
Probably.
Because
yeah.
I look at it like this: in '99, you had the lockout shortened season. The league only played 50 games. The Bulls at that point, that's all they needed was rest. The ultimate amount of rest that they would have gotten because of the '99 lockout season. Oh my gosh! And then they meet up with the Spurs of Tim Duncan, David the Admiral Robinson, and Avery Johnson. I think that they could have beat them just because of the fact.
I mean, it would have been a good game.
It would have been a good series.
If anything, a good series. I mean,
yeah, I think they would have beat them just based off the fact that they had rest.
I say them in 6.
You say it ends in 6?
Yeah.
Yep, I would say so.
But it'd be a good series.
It would have, because the thing about it is you have two tall guys down in the paint, and how do you stop them both? That's the thing about it, because you got you got Tim Duncan and David Robinson down there in the paint. But even
I don't know, man.
Yeah. But even too, I think that they probably would have won. I think they would have won 8 in 2000. And after 2000, I think personally they probably would have and should have just broken it up at that point, because now they meet up with the Los Angeles Lakers in 2000. But mind you, if they stay together, Phil Jackson doesn't go to Los Angeles.
Indeed.
Because now the Lakers have Kobe, Shaq, Derek Fisher, and Rick Fox. You go up against this team, but I think that this is the one team that honestly would have pushed the Bulls to a 7 series finally in the finals. Because mind you, up to this point, the Bulls still have never gone to a 7-game series in the finals. This team would have been the team that would have done it. I think the Bulls probably.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Say that again?
Definitely.
Yeah. Because I think that this would have been the team that would have done it. And I think that at this point in time, I think if they went in 7, the Bulls kind of realized, you know what? We're not what we used to be. We're not as young as we used to be. I think it might be a good time to just,
Mm-hmm.
But
yes, let's go with yes.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I think that a lot of people say 7. I think they would have got 8.
I'll go with 7.
I'm sticking with 8. We'll agree to disagree.
We'll agree to disagree. I mean, granted, old man basketball will always be the basketball, but eventually young man got to beat old man.
I feel you. The NBA is looking into using Orlando and Disney World as a possible site to resume NBA games.
I mean, I understand it's a neutral place. You can control the amount of people that go in and out.
Yeah. Because my thing is like this: if you do use Orlando and Disney World, you've got multiple alternatives. You've got the Magic's Amway Center. You've got Disney World of Sports. You've got UCF as an alternative. You have 3 nice arenas. Wild World of Sports has multiple courts. And then even to the Magic practice facility that you could use to play these games.
Yeah, you have a whole lot of places for practices, for games. You can run multiple games at a time.
Yeah, exactly. I think I think it would be a good idea to go ahead and try this and let's see what happens. I mean, look, I think it would
But
be.
granted, it will be very hectic trying to put together practice schedules.
Oh yeah, it would. It really would. It would be. It would just be hectic alone trying to get that morning shoot in.
Exactly.
Like, oh my gosh, I think you could have like a walkthrough at your little team hotel that you're going to be designated to or that you choose. Like, I mean, of course, some teams might stay at certain like Disney properties. Like some teams might stay at like the Saratoga Springs property on Disney's property. Some teams might stay at a Universal hotel. Some teams might stay across the street from SeaWorld, maybe. But it's going to be hectic.
Yeah, but they could work it out.
Yeah.
They're $1 billion group. They got the money. That's their problem, not mine.
I feel you. But on to the NFL. And speaking of the NFL, you'll never believe who just got picked up by a team. Joe Flacco has signed with the New York Jets.
Yo, boy Joe?
Yep.
Wow, what's your boy Joe going to do now?
Back up Sam Darnold.
Your boy going for a starting position.
Negative.
Your boy said, Sam, he ain't been living up.
No, negative. They already talked about
take that job.
Negative. Unless Sam Darnold gets mono again or gets hurt, I don't see Joe Flacco starting.
This man.
You tripping. I'm telling you now, he's going to be a backup. Because now they've already said it is Sam with Joe Flacco now being picked up by a team. Every starting quarterback from the 2019 season has signed a contract somewhere or is back with a team. Everyone except Cam Newton. Cam Newton is the only starting quarterback from opening day 2019 to not be on a team at this point right now.
That's extremely surprising with the amount of upside that Cam Newton has.
True, but people are afraid of those injuries and stuff. They don't know what they're going to get from him.
I mean, what is the upside though?
Oh yeah, the upside is very high.
Hell, the Patriots. Come on, they got Jared Stidham and Brian Hoyer. Like, come on, you can upside from that, even if he has injuries.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's you should at least consider bringing Cam in. You really should because now you have that experience, and I feel like Bill Belichick could tap in and add another element to his offense with Cam in it.
Exactly. He likes versatility. Now he definitely gets it with Cam Newton.
Yeah, exactly.
All and that do is keep him safe, which ain't that hard.
Yeah.
He's a big man, but it ain't that hard to keep him safe.
And then you get the chance now too to evolve your offense and show that our offense wasn't just Tom Brady friendly. Our offense can be friendly towards Cam Newton's style of quarterback as well.
But hey, he's the legend, not me. I'm just the guy here.
Yeah. But also too, I think you're going to be interested to hear this part. I don't know if you can call him former yet, but Seahawks defensive back Quentin Dunbar's lawyer came out and said that 5 witnesses said he was not involved in the robbery that him and DeAndre Baker took part in. DeAndre Baker's turned himself in as well. The Giants told DeAndre Baker to not bother even to participate in the virtual offseason meetings and stuff. I think they've washed their hands with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. What are you doing, man? Like, I understand. Like, how hard can it be if you're making that much money to just,
wait on the money?
Exactly.
Just wait on the money.
Exactly. Take care of yourself. Stay in good health. And then, dude, you have an opportunity in your hands that very few people get. A golden opportunity.
And you know what? Somebody probably out there is thinking, but if they don't have anything, how are they supposed to survive? I guess I kind of get it. No, there are people out here. Don't listen to your local rapper and whatever saying what he was doing. There are people out here with nothing who still don't resort to crime to make it.
Exactly. Also, too, the NFL wants to reward teams that have minority coaches on staff, such as, rewarding them with draft picks and stuff like that. Anthony Lynn has already come out and said, sometimes you do more harm when you try to do the right thing. So yeah, how do you feel about this new NFL thing? This new thing the NFL is trying to do with rewarding teams like draft picks and stuff like that.
I mean, I understand why they're doing it because their image. Granted, while the black community still mostly watches, it's not really that positive. So they're trying to do something, right? But I don't know. It seems almost wrong. It's almost like cheating the system. You're basically just telling them, all right, cool. So if we hire a minority, we just gonna get these draft picks. Don't matter.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That's not really a culture change. It's just bribery. Yeah,
because my thing is, I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about that now. Like that, I understand what you're trying to do, but I wouldn't, just. Yeah, it's messy.
Yeah, you're not worth it because of your football experience. You're worth a draft pick, bro.
Exactly. Because I'd rather be wanted because of my reputation as a coach versus just being looked at as, oh well, you know what? If we hire him, he'll be the reason we get a draft pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but also too, referring when you think about this, the league also wants to expand the Rooney Rule. So that way now it would require teams to interview more than just one minority head coach for a spot.
I mean, I could get down with it, but in the end, you still are doing what did Anthony Lynn say? You're doing more harm than you are good.
Yeah, you're doing more harm when you try to do the right thing.
Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, you're forcing teams. Granted, while not saying that any coaches, I don't know, less worth the job because they're a minority, just forcing the rules upon them is going to kind of start a rift.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I mean, honestly, if you have these types of incidents, right, where you have to make a rule expressly for this, maybe it's time to start thinking about new ownership or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, you can't force a change on them because in the end, they're going to do what they want they're just going to satisfy the rule.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much it. So now you're just bringing in another dude in there who's just like, yeah, I know why they're calling me. I don't really have the qualifications, blah, blah, blah. They're just calling me because I'm a minority. Like, like you're not putting people in good situations.
I feel that. And speaking of those good situations, the NFL, as of May 19th, has allowed facilities to reopen. Some facilities have reopened, some haven't. I don't know what's going on with most of the facilities here in Florida, like with the Jaguars, the Bucks, and the Dolphins. But I know some people have decided just to stay closed for the time being based off state laws, not state laws, but what the states have said. So I mean, it depends on what state you're in. As far as Florida goes, I'm sure all three of the facilities can open, but I don't know if they've chosen to as of yet.
Open eventually. I mean, I don't know. It seems as though the state is almost rushing the situation a bit.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, because I think what's been going on too is, you're starting to see things like what Tom Brady's done with a couple of his new teammates with Cameron Brate and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and guys like that is, Tom Brady went out to Berkeley Prep and was working out with them. out there on Berkeley's practice field. I really feel like he's probably been doing this for about a month now, behind the scenes.
Probably.
Yeah. And speaking of doing that in private and stuff, you ain't gonna believe what I got to tell you in a second. Carlos Hyde has signed with your Seattle Seahawks. The backfield for Seattle now consists of Carlos Hyde, Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, and Travis Homer. And then is there any word on what Beast Mode's going to do?
I don't think so. I don't know. I figured he was gone once he gave that speech about protect your chickens.
Oh, yeah. That's true, yeah. I would like to see him come back, but I mean, with you got 4 talented running backs in the backfield now, I doubt it. And I think this kind of douses the fire on the Seahawks' interest in Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, I mean, granted, all interest in Devontae Freeman has a kind of asterisk next to it because the injury thing.
Yep. I fully understand. I fully do. He's kind of burnt out, if you ask me.
Well, not necessarily. The running back market value has decreased, right? So you see an increase in running backs. You see a lot of different talents. Some of them are specialized, right? So rather than pay one big guy with injury concerns, why not just pay a few smaller running backs, smaller name running backs who are taking lower contracts with no injury history so far?
That's true, because honestly, that's what that's kind of what the 49ers did with their backfield. Because like they got a big name in Tevin Coleman, but they also got Mostert, who's not a big name, but he's reliable.
Well, you can't say that because they got what's his name, McKinnon.
He was hurt though.
Exactly, but they only did that because McKinnon was hurt. That was not their plan originally.
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point. But also too, Ryan Leaf has been arrested on domestic battery charges, and that's kind of just not a surprise, really.
That's Ryan Leaf.
I hate to say it like that, but I mean it's not really a surprise.
Yeah,
like he was. I believe it said he was just in jail back in 2012. Sometimes some of these draft busts, sometimes they can get their life together, or they get right. But I mean, I think
it's a shame
Ryan Leaf
his life together.
Yeah, I just think Ryan Leaf probably never really got his life together.
Because that's how he ended up out of the NFL, correct? Wasn't it a drug addiction or something?
Drug addiction, inability to really read a playbook, inability to read defenses. The list goes on and on. But
yeah, it's sad. It's sad that no.
Yeah. But on to the FAMU news. As you know, FAMU's already begun the project to renovate the field house for the football team thanks to the Rattler Athletic Fund. Again, you can text FAMU RAF to 41444. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you go on Twitter and go look at the video, they're taking out stuff. So I mean, I think it's for real. I know it's for real this time. As where, before in the past, it's always been, they're going to tear down certain things now and then rebuild it, and it never happened. Now it's for real, and it's really happening. It's been 37 years.
Hey, man, all I'm going to ask is where my contract at?
I'm not going to go there with you. You take that up with them.
I'm just saying.
Okay. And the other thing, too, is an interesting interview that I saw on YouTube regarding co-offensive coordinator and QB coach KJ Black. He gave his take on what the team's going to look like headed into the 2020 season. It was a pretty interesting one. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was pretty good.
I have not.
He basically he broke down the 4 quarterbacks that he's got on roster, saying, 2 of them can pass and take it to the house with their legs. So he's referring to, John Holcomb III, the Kansas State transfer, Rashawn McKay, who played won the A&T game with the game-winning TD pass, and then started the Morgan State game and got the win in that game. And then he's talking about his 2 young guys behind those 2 in Cameron Sapp and Lee John Howard. I'm just going to say it like this. As far as the quarterback position goes, you have a quarterback coming from Kansas State that is highly regarded, and in some cases, some people say is built like Cam Newton. I haven't seen him play yet, but I'm interested to see him play. In the little bit of spring practice that they had, he looks good throwing the football. This kid didn't transfer from Kansas State to sit the bench, and I think you know that too.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, so, everybody, it's kind of like you got to create that sense of competition to say, whoever's the most consistent is going to end up getting the job. I look at this as a situation kind of similar to, when Jameis Winston was battling Jake Coker at Florida State for the starting job. This is one of those situations. Similar to that, not just like it, but similar to it, because where it's going to be, if you didn't know who it was going to be by now, I don't know what to tell you. But I'll just say I think it's going to be John Holcomb starting week 1 down in Miami against Albany State.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, they returned 17 starters to the team. 3 of them are All-Americans. So you got your All-American punter, who I think is going to be probably the first punter or the first specialist off the board in next year's draft. You got probably one of the best safeties in the FCS in Marquise Bell. And then also, too, you've got Xavier Smith, who's probably really one of the best receivers in the state of Florida, probably one of the best receivers in the country.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Also, too, FAMU plans to have their players return back to campus in July, but nothing is for certain. And if you ask me, honestly, it's a better idea than what the SEC has proposed and what the SEC is going to do, where the SEC has said, bring the kids back June 1st or between June 1st and June 8th. Well, the NCAA has allowed that too now. But I think, FAMU's going to probably play it the safest and say July.
Yeah, just wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. Like you see the NBA is waiting.
Yeah, there's no
NFL
rush.
Exactly. And plus the other thing too is now things are opening up more and more here in the state of Florida. So now, these kids have an opportunity to go to a park somewhere now and condition like the way they really want to. But I'll say this, how they come back is going to say a lot sort of about how this year can go.
Oh, yeah.
You like to hear that everybody comes back and they're still in like tip-top shape. But of course, nobody's going to be in like tip-top shape because conditioning with your strength and conditioning coach versus conditioning on your own is just a totally different story.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think you're going to be interested to hear about this one, the Leave No Doubt T-shirt contest for the 2020 football season. So basically, everyone's allowed to create a shirt that says, as long as it says Leave No Doubt on it, and you create 3 different T-shirts, one in orange, one in green, and one in black. So far, for us as a page, I have created a couple shirts. I'll share them with you once we get off of here. But this is our chance to kind of shine. But hey, if you want to create a shirt yourself, create one. I'll give you the email you got to send it to.
I still got to think about that contract,
I'm gonna let you take that up with them.
I got to think about that contract too. So it's a lot of business.
Okay. But also, too, the other thing that's been swirling around Twitter and on social media is, and this is something I don't get, is, people are saying, homecoming's been canceled and stuff. And here's my thing about this is, who said that homecoming was canceled? Who that is really, really reliable said that homecoming was canceled? The university's website says that the board of trustees has not made a decision yet, but they're reviewing all alternatives regarding sporting events and homecoming.
I mean,
look,
it's just a rumor. I mean, honestly, rumors fly around all the time. You're not going to know until you get the official statement.
Yeah, that's very true. My thing about that is like, dude, come on now. Let's be real here. The NCAA said one thing, people are assuming another, and then there's a lot of money invested in college football, particularly in the state of Florida. So, I mean, we can't necessarily jump the gun. Now, if people are referring to the activities going on throughout the week, then, I mean, hey, look, I don't know what to tell you, but I know one thing. There's possibly going to be a game played at 4:00 on Saturday. So I'll be there for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all I got.
But now
that's all I got.
You said that's all you got?
That's all I got. Yep. Just yep. That's all I got.
I feel you. But now
the bug is coming. The bug is coming.
Trivia with the bug.
Hey, I heard he got a good one.
Hello, everyone. This is the bug, and my trivia question today is: how many World Series have the New York Yankees lost? This is the bug, and I am out. Thank you, everyone.
And there it is. That's the bug's trivia question. If you can answer it, we're going to try to put a poll up on the YouTube channel so that people can answer it for themselves. I don't know if you ever answered the last trivia question.
Why you got to bring me up?
Because you said you were going to answer it last time.
Man, I think it was 3.
I got it. I got it right here. How many American League MVPs did Yogi Berra win?
3?
Okay, yeah, you got it. You got it right.
Okay.
But do you know how many, like, what years? What 3 years did he win it?
Hold on, let me do my math. 51.
Okay, that's one.
50. No. That wasn't the year back to back. 54 and 55?
Yeah, that's correct.
Really? I thought it was 53, 54, honestly. I was old.
You got it correct. He won 3, and the 3 years he won it was 51, 54, and 55.
Well, I'm actually surprised.
Why are you so surprised?
I'm just extremely surprised. I didn't think I had.
Did you wing that off the top of your head, or did you have to look that up?
No, I winged that. Totally winged it.
That was good.
See, now you know why I'm so good at the multiple choice questions.
Sure. Hey, you're better than me.
Yeah.
Way better than me, Adam. But before we get out of here, there's another thing I got to share with you. I don't know if you heard about it, but down in Miami, the Miami Northwestern coaches have been suspended. I believe the head coach was fired because they had been holding summer workouts during this entire pandemic.
I mean, I understand why he was fired, but a caveat is, 1, was it voluntary? And 2, did their parents say that they could go?
You know what? That's the other thing. Did the parents give the green light to let it happen?
Because if the parents,
my thing about it,
and he said it was voluntary, you can't really blame him for that one. Honestly, you just got to get mad at the parents.
That's true. Now, see, my thing now is I say you test all of these young men and you test the coaches. And if they come back negative, that's going to say a lot.
I don't know about testing, but I do know one thing. If he said it was voluntary and the parents were like, yeah, I'll send my child out in the pandemic, that's on the parents. That's not really on the coach. The coach, he could say all he wants, but if nobody show up, nobody show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, does he deserve to lose his job over that? Possibly, because that's just terrible timing. We're in a pandemic. What are you doing? Use your head.
Yeah, I would agree.
You know? So it's one of those great little gray areas. But hopefully none of those.
I fully agree with
none
you.
of those kids got COVID.
That's my thing. See, that's why I say test them. Test them and let's find out. Because my thing is like, look, if you test them and they don't have it, then this proves the point of why people are allowing youth sports and high school sports to open up and be voluntary. If they test positive, this is going to cause some type of outrage and a lot of discussion.
I mean, if it tests positive, the outrage, because I bet you it won't do anything for the state of Florida.
Oh, yeah, it won't.
It'll just be at the school, and the dude will definitely lose his job. And if they do test negative, what'll happen is the state of Florida will be like, see, look, our plan is right. We'll be okay.
Yeah. Yep. And my thing is, does that coach get his job back, though, if everybody tests negative?
Probably not.
Fair point.
Probably not.
Fair point. But that's going to do it for us here on this episode of the Run and Gun Podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Don't forget to check us out on Instagram,
on Facebook,
YouTube,
Twitter,
Spotify,
and all of our social media platforms. As always, we appreciate you.
I appreciate you a little more, America. A little more.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Wow.
What you doing?
You need to stop. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. I'm JPeeps.
The boy is crazy. I tried to tell you, America.
That's Jay Cee.
Jay Cee.
Y'all take care. I said Jay Cee.
You said Jay Cee. But anyway, that's it for us, guys. Thanks for joining us on this podcast, this long journey, arduously shot over multiple days.
Yeah. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Stay blessed. We'll see you on the next episode.
And don't forget, I need that contract.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that was cold.